Hey guys, welcome back to GQ Design Studio. My name is Gabe and today we're going to be learning how to paint this painting right here. These are the colors that we're going to be using today. I'm going to throw them up on the screen so you can go ahead and take a look. This is the first brush that we're going to be using. It's about 1 inch thick and it has a flat top, and we're going to be naming him Megatron! And then we just have one small little detail brush like this right here. And I'm gonna name him Tito. Because he's so cute. We're gonna start off with Megatron. So let's go ahead and put him inside the water cup. Dry the excess water on the side of the cup. Dab it on the paper towel. And the first color we're gonna be using is Cobalt Blue. So with this Cobalt Blue, we can just start right here on the top, and we're just gonna go all the way across. It's important that we do really wide brush strokes because we want to cover a large area quickly. And let's go ahead and bring this blue down to about 1/3 of the canvas. So if you were to divide the canvas into thirds, this would go 1/3 of the way down. Remember to keep your brush strokes nice and wide. We can wrap the blue around the sides of the canvas, so wherever the blue is touching, go ahead and wrap it around. And we're going to do the top as well. We're going to practice a technique called dry brushing, so let's take Megatron and we're just going to scratch him off right here on the side of the plate. And we're going to bring this blue down just a little bit. And you see that kind of like wispy texture that I'm getting here with my paint? How it's not really going on that hard? That's what we're going for. That's called dry brushing. That's going to help us mix in our next color. So let's go ahead and clean off Megatron. And the next color we're going to be using is Fuchsia. So go ahead and put Megatron into the Fuchsia paint. And now let's go directly under where we just dry brushed it, and we're going to make a line going all the way across. And now we're going to take that line and we can work our brush all the way across and slowly bring it up. And you'll see the two colors start to mix together and start to create this naturally beautiful gradient. Solid. Let's go ahead and clean off our brush again. We want to get that blue off of there because we're going to extend this fuchsia down, and we don't want the beautiful fuchsia paint to be compromised by any of that blue. Let's go ahead and put fuchsia back on Megatron, and we're just going to bring this line down to the halfway point of the canvas. So find wherever you feel the halfway point of the canvas is, and we're just going to bring this line down. Very nice. Now let's go ahead and take a little bit of this fuchsia paint, and I'm going to put it over here on the side of the plate and grab a little bit of blue, and I'm going to mix these two colors together. I'm just going for like this kind of like purpley blue situation. And now with this new color, I'm just going to make a couple lines going here and there. I'm just going to skip around and just create some of these blue lines in the sky, just to create some more interesting colors up here. And I'll just do a few like that. Alright, let's go ahead and clean off Megatron, and we're ready to mix our next color. We're just going to grab a scoop of this white paint and put it on the side of our plate here next to the blue. And we're going to grab some blue and we're going to mix it together. We're going to make a light blue. Alright, so we're going to turn Megatron over to the side like this to use this skinny side. So instead of like this, we're going to turn him sideways like this. And if Megatron kind of exploded on you, flatten him out. We want him to be kind of thin because we want to use the thin side of Megatron to create these waves. I'm going to bring my arms side to side like this while barely touching the canvas. Now when I say side to side, I don't mean zigzag, because sometimes people start doing zigzag. That's not what I'm talking about. I'll show you what I mean right here. I'm going to start right here on this side, and I'm just going to barely touch the canvas and go side to side like this. And I'm just going to create a bunch of these little waves like this. So I'm barely touching the canvas here. I'll do the same. Let's start on the two sides first. We'll leave the center part bare for now. And we're just barely touching the canvas here. It's a little bit awkward for me to paint in this angle because of the camera. Okay, and now we're just going to bring some in the middle. Now the middle is going to have the highlight of the moon, so we're not going to go too extreme on the center. We're going to focus most of our energy on the sides over here. So we want to be skipping some areas. We want to see these white spaces in between. That's going to work for us for now, so let's go ahead and clean off Megatron yet again. And we're ready to mix our next color. Let's go ahead and take a scoop of this white, put it over here by the green, and then take some of this green. And we're going to mix it together. We're just going to lighten up this green just a little bit. So now we're going to do the same technique as we just did, but we're going to concentrate on the white areas. So we're going to be filling in these white areas with the same technique. So I'm just barely touching the canvas here. And I'm focusing just in between those blue lines. And now we'll just go in and just fill in this center part here a little bit. Just make it a little brighter. Let's go back to the light blue paints and just add a little bit more blue to this water now. So clean off your brush, load it up with the light blue, and then same technique. We're just gonna start filling in some of these areas where I feel like it might be a little bit too green. Just gonna knock back some of these green lines a little bit. Especially from the sides, I want the blue to really come in from the sides. So I'm gonna just wipe my brush coming here from the corner. That way the side is nice and blue. And then do the same technique over here. And then finally, let's go ahead and just load it up with some cobalt blue. And then we'll just darken up some of these areas here and create some shadows within the water. So I'm just gonna skip around and add some of these shadows here. Again, I'm mostly staying away from the center. If you do get some lines that are near the center, we can just lighten them up a little bit later after we paint the moon. So let's go ahead and put Megatron in the water cup. And we're gonna get out little Tito. I'm gonna put little Tito inside of the light green that we just mixed. And let's go ahead and draw the horizon line here at the top. So just do your best to trace over that line and draw a nice straight horizon line, separating the sky from the beach. Let's go ahead and take Tito, put him inside the light blue paint. We'll just introduce some more of this color right here. Just gonna break up some of the monotony of all this green. And then I'll go switch over to the regular blue. Make some more of these blue lines. Let's switch on over to Megatron. We're going to clean him off, and the next color we're going to be using is pure white. So go ahead and put Megatron into the white paint. We're going to be painting this moon right here. It goes in the center of the canvas, but a little bit lower within this half. So I'm just going to draw a nice circle right here. So sometimes it's nice to start small because you can always get bigger, but not necessarily the other way around. And now with this white paint, we can start brightening up this area underneath the moon on the water. We can draw the reflections of the water. And I'm doing essentially the same technique, only with this small brush here. So I'm just going side to side, barely touching the canvas, and just letting the brush really do all the work here. I'm just guiding it. So just keep it localized right here, under the center of the moon. Mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Comment below if you know where that song is from. Awesome, and we'll just bring some of these white lines out here. We'll just choose some waves to highlight. I'm gonna try to do it on top of these shadows. So on top of these dark lines, we can just add a little highlight to the top part of them. Right over here, just nice. Just nice.
The sun just dancing right off of them, just nice.
For now, we're gonna move on to the foreground of the painting. So let's go ahead and take Megatron out, wash him off, and the next color we're gonna be using is black. Let's go ahead and make some measurements. I'm gonna go up about 2 or 3 inches. I'm just gonna make a black mark right here. And then we'll go up 2 or 3 inches. We'll make a black mark right here on this side. And then we'll go up about 1 inch, which is like the thickness of our brush here. And we'll make another line. And now our job is to connect these lines. So this line is going to come in and it's going to come down a little bit. Let's go right here. And then from this side, it's going to have like kind of a hill coming down again while meeting this one here in the middle. And now everything below that black line, let's go ahead and fill it in with black. Let's go ahead and go over the moon one more time. So for that, I'm going to get out Ignacio, Ignacio, Ignacio. And let's go ahead and put them inside the light blue paint. And then we can just start going around town, right around town on this moon here. I'm gonna add some white in here. Oh yeah, there we go. And I'm just working my brush on a circle here. We're just making some interesting stuff happen inside this moon. Nobody wants a boring moon, right? And now we can move on to little Tito. Tito, Tito, come here. It's your turn. It's your turn to paint the trees. So let's go ahead and put little Tito inside the black paint. And we're gonna do some measurements. We'll start with this left tree right here. So along your foreground, go ahead and go about 3 inches in and we'll make a little black dot right here. Let's go 1/3 of the way down the canvas. And then we'll go about like another 1/3 of the way down the canvas. So we're about like right here. And we'll make another little black dot, okay? So we're gonna draw another little puntito right here. And now our job is to connect those two lines. And when you connect them, you want this part to be a little bit straight and then start curving. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna start on this side. I'm just gonna start like this. And then curve down. Like that. And now when you're painting a tree, you want the base of your tree to be the thickest part. So I'm just gonna go ahead and work on making the base of this tree nice and thick. And then we're gonna go over here, and we're just gonna put this one right over here, about maybe 3 inches away from the moon, and about 3 inches above your water. And then we're gonna also go about 3 or 4 inches. And then we'll just connect those two bad boys with a nice curved line. And just like before, we're gonna work on making the base of this tree the thickest. So now we can go ahead and start on these palm fronds here. And we're gonna start by just drawing all the branches to the palms, and then we're gonna add the fronds, okay? So the first one is just gonna hang down this way. It's gonna have like kind of a curve and end about 1 inch into the water. And then the next one's gonna come over here, a little bit into the water as well. Next one's gonna come around right here. A nice curved line this way. And this one's gonna overlap the moon a little bit. But don't worry, that's fine. That's what happens in painting. You paint something beautiful, and then you paint over it. And this one's gonna come up this way and go into our moon. And then the last one's coming out here. We're only going to be adding the palm fronds to the bottom part of the branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come right down here below the branch, and I'm just going to make a few lines and actually follow through with the shape that I naturally already have. Alright, so I'm just starting out here, and I'm going with the shape of my palm frond already. So you want to make these nice and long. You don't want short palm fronds, because then it doesn't end up looking like a palm tree. It ends up looking just like a cactus or something with spikes coming out of it. We're not going for the cactus look. Not this time. And we'll follow that same step. So over here on this one, I'm going to come from this side and just curve it down like so. So it's important just to follow through with the shape that you already have coming from your branch. You want to face your brush in the direction that you're going. So if my fronds are coming up like this, I'm going to tilt my brush so my fronds can naturally help it go up. So use your brushes smartly. You want to angle Tito in the direction that you're making your line. So for example, I'm going up like this with my brush to make these palm fronds. I'm not going to be doing them like this. That wouldn't make sense. So we want to turn it upside down on these to actually use the point of Tito and help us make these sharp palm frond ends. Alright, so we're going to follow this same process with this palm tree. The first one's going to come down low like this, and then just connect right over here. And this one just is going to come out a little bit further than that one, but not be quite as low. This one overlaps the moon again, which is good. We like the overlap. We like that stuff. This one's going to come around and just stay kind of close to the branch, but I want it to make it a little bit longer. This one's coming out here, and then over here. Sweet! And just like before, we can start adding the palm fronds. Okay, so I'll start with this one up here. them, and there's our palm trees. Alright, so for these chairs, go ahead and find the center of your canvas. And then we'll go to the left 1 inch, make a little dot. And we'll go to the right 1 inch, make another little dot. So we have these 2 markers right here. From here, let's just draw a slanted line going about 3 inches tall. That's good. And then we're gonna make this line angled, make it about 1 or 2 inches wide. And then just follow that same line back. And everything inside we can fill in with black. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and draw another line. And now for the armrests, they're pretty horizontal. So they go about 2/3 of the way down on the chair. And you can just draw them coming in on both sides. And now for these lines here, you want to make them nice and light. So you want to push down very light-handed. And we're just going to make a nice thin line to support the armrest. And it goes almost to the end of the armrest, but there's actually a little bit of space still left in front. And finally, we can wrap this painting up just by making all these beautiful little stars right here. So let's go ahead and load up Tito with white paint. If you want to draw your favorite constellation or write your lover's name in the stars, feel free to. And for these stars, I suggest that you keep it nice and random. So draw some close together. You know, I group some, make some a little bit smaller, draw some bigger ones. And we can do some of these shining stars. And these shining stars are pretty simple. We're just going to start with a plus sign. And then we'll do a little multiplication sign within that. It's important that you do these light-handed. You don't want to do this part heavy-handed, or then instead of having a nice little star, you'll have like a crucifix, which is cool, but probably not what you're going for. Do some stars back here, in between the leaves. If there's a part of your background that looks a little wonky, or you have something that you don't like, just put a little star on it. It's fine, just put a little star on it. Put a little star. It's fine. It's fine. And there we have it. Those are all the steps that you need to know in order to paint this beautiful painting right here. If you have any questions for me whatsoever, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. If you've liked the video, then like the video, because that does help me out tremendously. I also did notice that I surpassed 2,000 subscribers. I want to thank you guys. That really means a lot to me. The video for how to paint Starry Night, that video has over like 55,000 views, and it kind of blows my mind that I've taught 55,000 people how to paint Starry Night. In celebration for passing 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway for one of my paintings. I'll go ahead and pull it up right here. This is the painting that I'm going to give away. All you need to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video, and I'm going to randomly select one person and then mail this painting out to you. Unfortunately, it has to be within the United States for now until I can figure out an effective way cost-wise to ship out of the US. If you guys like what I'm doing here, then consider subscribing, and if you want to see more of these painting classes, then head on over to my Patreon page, where there you can donate. These painting classes do take a lot of time and energy and resources, and I'm always trying to make the setup better for you guys, so any pledge that you guys put in is always greatly appreciated. Thank you guys again for joining me, and until next time, stay creative.